Language is like a time machine. It carries centuries of history in the words we use every day. Let's take a journey through some of the most surprising and fascinating word origins that have shaped the way we speak. Let's start with the word hammock. Picture sailors lounging in their hammocks after a long day at sea. This word, however, didn't come from the open ocean. It originated from the Taino word hamaka, meaning stretched cloth. The indigenous people of the Caribbean used hammocks to sleep, and the Spanish brought the concept and the word back to Europe, where it caught on worldwide. Speaking of animals, let's talk about skunk. It might be the last thing you want to smell, but its origin is anything but stinky. The word comes from the Algonquin word seganku, meaning urinating fox. The skunk's notorious odor was clearly memorable enough to give it a name that captures its, well, essence. Like this content so far. Like and subscribe to see more. Moving on. And from the wild to the kitchen, we arrive at marshmallows. No, they weren't always sugary puffs we roast over a campfire. The ancient Egyptians were the first to make marshmallows. Using the sap of the marshmallow plant. Yes, it's a real plant. They combined it with honey to make a sweet treat for gods and royalty. Today's version may be a bit more artificial, but its origins are steeped in history. On to royalty. Imagine King Midas, the legendary ruler whose touch turned everything to gold. Now let's talk about mausoleums, which have their origin in another ruler, King Mausolus of ancient Korea. His wife built a grand tomb for him so magnificent that it became one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. The name Mausoleum comes directly from him, forever linking grand tombs with his legacy. But kings weren't the only ones making their mark on language. Let's dive into ancient medicine with crocodile, which comes from the Greek word krokodilos, meaning pebble worm. This may sound odd, but it refers to the reptile's rough, pebbly skin, which the ancient Greeks thought resembled a worm covered in stones. Not the scariest image for a creature that could snap your arm off, but it stuck. From the desert heat to the cold Arctic, let's look at the word igloo. You might picture snow huts in the icy wilderness, but the word comes from the Inuit igloo, meaning house. For the Inuit people, an igloo wasn't just a snow dome. It could be made of other materials, like stone or wood, depending on where they lived. Snow was just one option in a versatile tradition of survival. And speaking of survival, when the Italians defeated the Arabs in Sicily in the 1070s, they had to establish their own rule. The Arabic word, amir, meaning commander, evolved into the Latin emeritus, and eventually became admiral, the title for the commander of a fleet of ships. Who knew the leader of the high seas started with a humble word meaning leader? Next, let's move to a word that reveals ancient myth and medicine: dynamite. Alfred Nobel invented this powerful explosive, and he named it after the Greek word dynamis, meaning power. The Greek philosophers knew that words held as much power as the substances they described. Nobel certainly chose the right name for his invention. And then there's Tahoe. The name of this serene, beautiful lake in the Sierra Nevada comes from the Washoe word Tahoe, which simply means the lake. The indigenous people had a straightforward connection to the natural beauty of the area, and the name is a reminder of the simplicity in recognizing something profound. Finally, let's wrap up with a sweet treat: candy. This word comes from the Arabic kandi, meaning made of sugar. Sugar was once a rare and valuable luxury, traded across continents, and the word candy reflects that early sweetness. From ancient times to today's Halloween hauls, candy remains a delicious part of language and culture.